How's it going, guys? So the other day our custom manure haulers were here, got a bunch of liquid manure hauled, and now we're starting to think about getting our cover crops planted. So I want to get our 7220 off the sprayer, hook it up to the John Deere no-till drill. Today we actually have agri applicators back doing some more manure injecting. So we kind of had mixed results from what we did in the spring with the injector. I'm not really sold on it yet. We wanted to try some this fall and then see how it does for spring forage crop over the winter. This is a John Deere 750 15-foot no-till drill. So the row spacing is 7.5 inches, and just knifes it into the soil. Works pretty well for cover crops. So I'm gonna go through and grease it. There's just a main bearing on each row that the middle disc turns on. Yeah, that's good. The drill should be ready to go. Greased it up, oiled the chains, and put some air in the tires. There's certain jobs where I really wish I had a telehandler at my disposal. This would be one of them. We gotta get that tow feed loaded into here, and our skid loader doesn't lift high enough, so we gotta use a forklift, but it doesn't have enough reach. This is the neighbor's forklift we're borrowing. We took off about 123 acres of corn silage, and we're going to be putting a spring forage crop in all of those acres. So half of them are getting cereal rye, and then half are getting triticale, which is a cross between wheat and rye. So the harvest window of those two crops are a little different, so we can spread it out a little bit in the spring. So we're going to be starting with the triticale here. I got to help get this on the forks. Big totes, they have a hole right in the center of the bottom. That'd be the best way to empty them out. The only problem is we can't really reach out very far over the drill, so it just doesn't give us much reach if we try and open that hole up. So we end up usually cutting it right here, so that way we can actually get it to the center of the drill. That's how we do it, make it work. Check my settings here. We usually run for trit 34 to 36. Of course, the forklift ran out of fuel right there at the end. I'm gonna go get started, make sure everything's working right, and I think Dad's gonna take over. Trying to run between 125 and 150 pounds to the acre. spread manure on this field on Saturday. This is Monday. And right now he's injecting manure in that field right there. So we'll be able to see it on top of that then. We got 2 rows that are plugging up there, so I guess we gotta go figure that out. Not sure what's going on. So I gotta be watching pretty closely, but I can see all these little windows from the cab. Just like to make sure I see seed falling through. These are overflowing. So this is what I was hoping. It's just being held up in this thing. I took the tube off and that's open. Just got a little bit of dirt right in the bottom of this. And the second one's the same thing. That's what I was hoping for. It's a little more annoying when the issue's down in the seed tube somewhere down in there. Started carrying a vice grip on me, just this little mini one. Super handy. I guess the other thing I could check is the depth. I got the depth changed, should be good to go now. My dad took over drilling. I was drying up a few cows. Got that little field done, now he's working at the bottom corner of the farm. I'm gonna go check it out a little bit. They're still injecting manure, he has one small field to do. Should be wrapping it up pretty soon. So you can see the job it's doing, pretty much burying the manure. So let's go look at the drill and then we'll come back and film some injection. This fall seeding, we're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. For one thing, we're just putting a cover crop in. It's good to always have a crop growing, something established. It just holds the soil in place, prevents erosion from the weather. It also helps keep the weeds down when you have a crop growing like that. But it's not just a cover crop because we're going to be harvesting this in the spring. So it's going to grow some this fall. Over winter it'll go dormant and then it'll take off again in the spring. We'll hit it with some fertilizer, give us a nice forage crop in the spring before we can plant another full season crop after it. Dad's gonna continue drilling triticale today, and I'm actually headed back to our quarry farm, back this long lane. We have a machine we're renting. It's gonna be kind of fun to run for a day. So we're renting a Cat 953. It's a bucket dozer machine. I don't know what they call them. Kind of a beast though. So I was running it for about an hour yesterday. I'll take it down to that big field now and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna be doing with it. We got a job that a skid loader wasn't quite enough for, so decided to bring in the big guns. To drive it forward, you got this V-shaped control over here. Towards you is forward, away from you is backwards. And then your foot pedals are like brakes for your tracks, so you push the right, it'll pull you to the right side, and then your bucket is over here. I'll show you the situation we got here. Got this tree line, it's the edge of the property. Over time it just slowly works its way out. We got brush that starts to grow and then eventually little saplings, and they get bigger and bigger. You can see this used to be the field. We got some decent sized bushes and little trees growing. You know, the field line used to be somewhere back there. There's some really big trees in there. We don't want to tear those out, but a whole lot of acreage is lost. We were at this farm last week cleaning up some rocks with the skid loader. My dad was dumping them into the woods, and he was noticing he could push it way back. And we were thinking, well, we could just clear it out with the skid loader, but we got some trees like this one here, 8 inches in diameter, pretty tall there. So needed a machine that was a little bit more aggressive, and we called a local excavator that rents these machines out. It's definitely gonna be fun. We'll see how this goes. I'm gonna try to tear right into that tree there. We gotta get that one out of there and then start working our way down through. It's gonna take quite a bit of time, I think. It's just amazing how much this brush works its way out over time. Right here is the edge of where I planted this year. That's about 20 feet, 25 feet back. Looks like we're gonna get a little bit of rain here. This thing is incredibly fun to run. Pretty much feel like I have limitless power. If I hit a big enough tree, I guess it'll slow me down a little bit, but man. Dad brought the skid loader over. He's just cleaning up what I had done this morning, just getting smoothed out a little bit, getting some of the branches I might have missed. I'm on the other side of the field now, working my way around. It's going pretty quick. Say I'm about 2/3 done now. Just gotta go around the bottom corner, the whole way around to the beginning of the field there. So, getting there. I made my way around the whole field, parked the bulldozer up at the top there for the guys to come pick it up again. So it took me about 7 hours today, go around it. Get this field in a lot better shape than it had been the last couple of years. I'm back at the farm now. My dad had been drilling triticale, but now he's feeding cows, so I'm gonna keep this thing running. We're soon done with all the acres here at home, and we got some bags to finish out. We used up 4 totes. Just got some bags. I'm gonna throw some of these in. So it's the next day. We finished drilling the triticale and we started with the cereal rye, which is very similar, but my dad's running that right now. I'm gonna hook up to our disc. Gonna take it over to the farm where I was pushing all that brush back. Just try to smooth it out a little bit. There's some rough spots before we go ahead and seed it. We finally went and decided to spend some money and invest in a new tire for this disc. Seems slightly low in air. I'm gonna add some and then we'll go over to the other farm. Got some rough ground from running that dozer through here. So certain spots we cleared out quite a bit of space. Just something I'm going to try to maintain a lot better now. Get down here with the bush hog, or maybe even the disc like this every year. I don't know, something to just keep stuff from working its way out into the field. We're back here in this big field again today. So we got most of the rocks last week. Just wanted to go over it one more time, clean up any little rocks on top. Dad's going to run the skid loader. I'm just going to walk along. We also have Elizabeth helping us. I'll have to introduce her then when she gets over here. Since we're no-till, we usually don't worry as much about rocks. Still have to lift the planter up for them or go around them some. Oftentimes we don't actually go pick them up like we should. So it's kind of nice to keep after fields. Makes farming them a little bit more fun. So this is Elizabeth. She's a family friend of ours. She's going to be kind of doing an internship here with us for the next few weeks. So you're going to probably see her around some. Making our way around the field. A lot of small rocks and a few big rocks that we had missed earlier. That disc did a really nice job smoothing out the edges of the field a little bit where the crawler had disrupted it. Our last row of corn was about right there this year, so we got all this extra space. Back at the farm now, we're gonna load up the drill again. We're now seeding rye, cereal rye instead of triticale. Fueling up the tractor, making sure we have enough to finish that farm. So we have one tote of seed we're gonna put in, and then we have a bunch of bags to finish up, which is kind of nice. That way we don't have to bring the drill home between, just take them over with the pickup and make sure we get that farm done. So we were just noticing that some of the triticale is already starting to sprout. See, it's starting to make its way out of the soil there. The first field I did is already 2 or 3 inches tall. This stuff's coming out pretty good. I just like seeing plants growing on the soil all the time. This will be nice and green this fall before too long. I just noticed this piece of aluminum roofing blew across the field. I wanted to pick this up. Haven't gotten everything cleaned up from the building project. This is mostly scraps we want to have recycled. The totes of triticale were 2,000 pounds. The rye totes are 2,250 pounds, so it gets a little bit fuller. Rye and triticale seed look very similar, and they look very similar growing in the field. What triticale is, it's actually a cross between rye and wheat. We're seeding about 150 pounds per acre. I want to get it on pretty heavy because we're going to be harvesting it. We want to maximize the yield. If we're just going for cover, we'll go lighter, like 50 pounds to the acre.